That's why I told you where you're supposed to fly. Not under the table.
What are you saying, Bouchon?
Aren't you done recording?
Huh?
You're not done recording?
Go outside.
No, I just want a good intro. I'm Jacob. Okay, so before starting the calculations to my frame model, I had to figure out what was the density of the material we were going to be using. And I came out with the density of plastic, which was 0.95 grams per centimeter cube. And for the mass calculation model, the way that I was going to calculate mass was basically figure out the density of the material and then multiplying by the volume of my frame. The frame model is going to be basically m equals d times v, which is mass equals density times volume. After that, I had to figure out the volume calculation model. And since my frame model had a very irregular shape, it was split into various shapes that made it easier to calculate the area of the volume of the drone. The shapes that were used were triangles, rectangles, trapezoids, hexagons, circles, and arcs. Now, since my drone wasn't symmetrical at all, I split it into two parts, and then I made sure that both parts are equivalent in volume. My drone was very irregular, so all I could do was estimate the area using shapes. First, I started calculating the surface area of the top half of the frame. For the front of the frame, I used the triangle prism surface area equation. Then I used the areas of rectangles and triangles to calculate the area of the empty spaces, followed by subtracting the two areas to get the total surface area of the front of the frame. Next, I calculated the frame's arms area. I calculated the whole area and the empty spaces by using triangles, rectangles, arcs, and circles. Then I subtracted them from each other to get the total surface area. I then calculated the front middle of the frame, and this time I used some trapezoids to find out the whole area and empty spaces. I subtracted both areas to get the total surface area of that part. Now I had all three surface areas of the top half of my frame. I added all three and ended up with the surface area of the top half of the frame. Next, I needed to calculate the lower half of the frame. I started off by the wings surface area. I used triangles, rectangles, trapezoids, and hexagons to find the whole area and empty spaces. I then subtracted them from each other to find the surface area of the wings. For the lower arms, I used the combinations of circles, arcs, triangles, rectangles, and trapezoids. I subtracted the empty spaces from the whole area to get the surface area of the lower arms. The lower middle of the frame was split into triangles, rectangles, and trapezoids. Again, I subtracted the empty spaces from the whole area to get the surface area. The frame had a lower part that made the drone look 3D. The lower part that held the lower arms was split into triangles and hexagons to estimate the surface area. The lower level middle area was split into rectangles, trapezoids, and triangles. I then took all the surface areas and added them together to find the lower half surface area. Now, here comes the hard part. With trial and error, I multiplied each surface area with a reasonable thickness for the frame until I matched the volumes of each part of the frame. To find the total volume of my frame, I added both the front and the back volumes. And since the volume was in millimeter cubed, I then divided by 1000 to make it centimeter cubed. Finally, I used the mass calculation model. I multiplied the volume of my frame with 0.95, which was the density of the plastic. And the result mass of my frame was 2.11 grams, which fit under the rule first given to us that the frame has to be 4 grams or less.
Follow up on my grind, 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 follow up on my grind. I'm provoking you now. Follow up on my grind, 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 follow up on my grind. I'm provoking you now. I'm provoking you now. up on my grind. Fall up on my grind, 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 fall up on my grind. I'm taking you now. Fall up on my grind, 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 fall up on my grind. I'm taking you now. I'm provoking you now.
Yo. Oh my gosh.
sorry, Mr. Cole.
It's so bad. Oh my
The lady.